8 months ago, this barn was derelict, abandoned and forgotten. But now, the transformation is undeniable. The structure has been rebuilt, brought back to life, given the second chance it's always deserved. And today, for the first time, the inside begins its journey from an empty shell to a family home. This is where the story shifts. Welcome back to the Derelict Barn Project. Okay people, we are back at the Derelict Barn Project. A lot of the comments, what's happening with the barn, where you been? We have been waiting for decisions from the client. We've had final designs done for the kitchen, final designs for all the bathrooms. We've got our flooring picked. So we are now back full steam ahead. So come with me, let's have a little run through of exactly what's been done. Who put the oil tank there? Well, we have had Mike from Rely On Plumbing in to install the oil tank and the external boiler. So what does that mean? We have heating in the barn for the very first time in years. We have radiators in both bedrooms and on the gallery floor. So with the wiring centre all installed, that must mean one thing. We have power, boiler on, heating on. So if we have power, that must mean we have one thing. That is lights. First on the list is to get some flooring laid. We're starting on a mezzanine and then onto the upstairs bedrooms. We're using a gorgeous engineered oak system from UK Flooring Direct. Hopefully we've chosen a floor to complement every bit of the original timbers in this barn. That's right, we are on to the flooring, but it's not going to be easy. As always, as you can see, take a look around, walls, beams, oak, everywhere. And what have you got to leave when you lay an engineered floor? An expansion gap. So with us not having any skirtings, it is going to mean that we are going to have to scribe pretty much every single board around every single one of these bits of oak. So we've just worked out and got everything parallel to make it work to the biggest board sizes we can from front to back. We're going across the mezzanine here because that's the way that the client has asked for us to do, running with the ceiling joists, or the rafters should I say, not ceiling joists. So Ryan's just about to start marking out our first scribe. It's going to be a long few days. Let's get cracking. And just a few minutes in, we hit our first hurdle. And yeah, this was a big one.
Don't fall in.
It's going to look so bad, isn't it? What do you do? That's just going to fill up with rubbish as well, isn't it? Really, they're going to have a bead right around everything. I mean, we're just... Manufacturing specifications is 10 to 15 mil for the expansion. If you come and look at this, that gap around every single one is it's not going to look good. After hearing the news, I jumped straight on the phone with the clients and explained the, let's call it, unideal situation. All right, perfect.
All right, thanks, Danny.
Cheers. Thanks, bye. Right, scrap what I just said. So I've been on the phone. The manufacturers have said we need a 15 mil expansion around everywhere. The client are not happy with that, so we've had to meet in the middle. We're going to go with a 5 mil on the ends because this wood will swell or could potentially move widthways. Very rarely will it go the length, if any. So we're going to go 4 mil on the ends. We're going to go 8 mil around all of the main posts, trim that up, and then this way we'll be able to get a bead and silicone that nicely, get a masket man to come round the whole way around the outside to finish it off a lot better than it would be if we had to cut in a load of trimming around the outside. So with that decision made and the client's happy with that, we are now going to fix. We've pinged a line through to give us lines where we're going to start from. We're going to set these blocks in. So then what we're going to do is get the glue down, get this first run set absolutely perfect, and then start working that way, scribing around every single post. Let's go. Make sure we get this fully bedded. Right, first board down. 50,574 more to go. But even with the hiccup, day one came to an end with a grand total of 7 rows. Progress is progress, I suppose. Day 2 felt instantly better. Aaron was back from a day off, the morale was up, and thankfully, no more surprises were thrown our way. And just like that, the entire gallery floor was finally down. As you can see, the flooring to the gallery area is almost complete bar one little section. And that section has been left out for one magical reason. We have a beautiful oak glazed spiral staircase which is going to be installed here by us. So the reason we've left this out is until that turns up, we cannot finish this section. I didn't capture much of these rooms being finished, but honestly, it was the exact same process as the gallery. And just like that, all of the flooring for these 2 bedrooms is now complete. And now with all the engineered flooring upstairs fully installed, it was time to take on the giant task of downstairs. With the upstairs coming together, it was time to show the downstairs floor some love too. Billy and Joe from Second City Screed arrived to sand and refine the whole slab, removing all of the latents from the top layer of the liquid screed, getting everything perfectly clean before we move on to the final finishes. This is a very important process. The process is simple: sand, check, refine, repeat, all to make sure every square metre of this barn starts from the perfect base. I've seen all your messages, I know you've been itching, and so have we. But finally, 3 months later, we have bathroom suites. What does that mean? We can now continue with works inside this barn. With the floors now sanded, prepared, ready for tiling, bathroom suites here, that means we can fill you with loads of content and finally get this barn finished. First up, priming, then the crackmat. With the floor now primed, we have one more job we have got to do, the spiral staircase. So the stair company have asked us to do a solid slab. So we know underneath this screed is 100mm of insulation. We got to cut this screed out, get down to the solid floor and build this back up to the finished height of our tiled floor. So me and Ryan just about to get this cut out, dug out, concreted, then we can get the matting down on the floor. Let's just hope we haven't gone through the underfloor heating pipe, shall we? That was either proper planning, because we haven't hit any underfloor heating pipes. What do you reckon? Did we plan for it or not? Tried the nice way, but it's not having it. It's coming out. So, screed out, insulation out. You can see here, this is our membrane which we put on top of the existing raft, which is 250, 300 mil deep. So what we've been asked to do, as per drawing, spiral staircase is going to come up. This is going to be the centre column point. So this is where it's going to take the weight. So we've been sent this drawing from the staircase manufacturer, and it's given us our dimensions. So 1860, 950. But this one we are not doing because it's going to sit on top of the finished tiled floor. So this is the centre column, which is this one. So it's 950, 950 from the oak beam above. Now all we got to do is solid fill this with concrete. That's going to lock that in. We know the weight's down there. Finish it flush with this. Then we can tile over the whole lot. And then once it's tiled, the staircase is going to arrive. Then we've got to cut a 280 mil diameter hole after the tiles have been laid. Ha! Ha! I'm joking. Next up was the crackmat. Step one was to ping a chalk line parallel with the external wall, the same width as the matting. Right, so that chalk line there is where we're going to start our first row of the biotech, which is the crackmat. Let me show you the stuff that we use. This stuff is specifically for screeded floors. The reason we use this, it is expensive, but it's a pucker product. So this is only 0.5 millimeter thick. We trowel it on with a 3mm trowel, really nice and wet, and then we basically roll it in with this roller, put some weight on the end of that, and then roll it in so it's dead flat. Then when the tiler arrives, Ryan, he will have a dead flat surface and he can crack straight on with the tiling and get this all tiled and looking beautiful. The process for this is pretty straightforward. Cut each run to length. Mix the adhesive. Trowel out a perfect 3mm bed. Then lay out the matting, pressing it firmly into place. So basically now what we do, pinged our line, troweled out our adhesive, 3mm. These lines here, which you'll see are the trowel marks, okay? So when I put pressure on, these marks should close up. And then that is fully bonded to the floor. So Ryan's just gonna get a couple of bags of adhesive. We're gonna then load the roller up and roll this in, like so. So the adhesive that we've been given by Ultratile, we use a Flexi Slow Set, and that's because it gives us a bit more time. Because we've got long runs, we don't want it going off super quick. So it gives us a bit more time to play with it, get the matting down, roll it in, job done. And we will show you what adhesive we are going to be using when we lay the porcelain tiles. So when I roll over with the weight on the roller, watch what happens to the top of the matting. You can see the matting suppressing and pushing into the adhesive, which is bonding it fully to the floor. And then when I go to the edge, if you look at the edge, you should see it all bursting out the ends. Oh! Ah! Didn't promise. Now that we got the first 2 rows down, I think it's better we put you on a time lapse because this is pretty tedious. So the cameras are set, hit the time lapse. Once the first run is in, it's pretty simple. It's rinse and repeat. Believe it or not, I'm not a tiler every day, but this step takes ages. But it's absolutely crucial if we want these floors to look flawless for decades to come. So the day is finally here. Ryan and his boys are down to start the tiling. I know you've all been excited to see it, and it is finally happening today. So Ryan come down late last night and he started setting out for all the tile layout. So we're gonna have one full tile, 12 by 12, running central to the door. Then what have we done, Ryan? Have we worked it centered to the room this way?
Yeah, so we've centered the room this way, and then we've centered the tiles, so there's not a central joint, it's offset.
Okay,
so
cool.
It's centered this way, centered this way.
Perfect. So as you walk in the door, you'll see a full tile and then a full tile straight down the center. So as you can hear, Louis is knocking up. It's time to get the first tiles down on the floor. That's right, I can't believe it. It's finally tiling day. A moment we've been building towards for months. What you're seeing here is a process called back buttering. A thin, even layer across the entire back of each tile, giving you the strongest possible bond. Then comes the notch trowel, spreading a perfectly gauged bed of adhesive across the entire floor prior to laying the tile.
Right, so we're using vacuum suction cups here with a 1200 by 1200 tile, just because they're a larger format tile. It just makes it easier for handling. As you've seen, we've already back buttered the tile, which is just putting a flat bed of adhesive on the back of the tile, which just helps getting a better hold. We've used a notch trowel on the floor, and adhesive's all going in one direction, which is called directional laying. And then, as you can see underneath, we've got 6 clips on, so they're leveling clips, which just basically help you get the floor, the tile super flat without having a lip. And then we'll just use that, clip in onto the wedge, down, and then down you go. And then you collapse the bed, so basically as we're moving it, you can see the adhesive's collapsing down. So the adhesive underneath, so this is now spreading out like this under the tile, which gives a nice solid bond.
That is how you lay a proper tile.
That's how you do it, apparently. Someone will say it's wrong. And then we're using these wedges, which basically these just clip in and make it flat. So they act like a vise and they squeeze together. So like, see how it's nice and flat now? And then that just literally holds it in place. That's it.
As you can see, we have a pink bag of adhesive and a white bag of adhesive. The pink bag, as you know, we used for the crackmat. That is a slow set standard adhesive. This white gel stuff is their latest addition from Ultratile, 20 kilo bags. I was asked by Ryan to speak to Ultratile about this because it's a new gel system. It's fairly recent to them. It's their newest product, I believe. And they say any gel adhesive is top notch. So Ryan's just started using it. He's really enjoying it. Easy to spread, knocks up lovely. Gonna do just the job. Let's get cracking, carry on tiling.
Morning, all right, so at the derelict barn. We're here last night at about 7 o'clock. We've got the main area of the floor in, and then we've come in this morning. We've started setting out in here because as it comes through here, it's 1200s in this whole area, and then it's moving to 900 by 900. So what we're trying to do is we're going to try to run this continual join all the way through. It changes from here to here to 900s. Keep this joint going, and then we're hoping to set this room to come follow the joint as well with 900 tiles. And then we'll be moving on into the back here today. So, all going well, we'll get this tile today.
So I'm back. I've been away for 1 day and left the boys to continue with the tiling. Ryan was left in capable hands, clearly. Let's go through and see what he has done. So we have got 1200 by 1200 tiles in here and in the hallway, and 900 by 900 everywhere else. But Ryan's done a fantastic job of setting out. I'll give you to Ryan and he will show you exactly what he's done.
So we've lined up the 1200 by 1200 to centre the room. The line comes through. We've continued the joint of the 900 through here. It's also the next joint comes through here, so this room will look seamless. And if you come through here, another 2 tiles on will bring you exactly to this point, which we've lined this room off. So when the doors are all open, this will line through, this will line through, this will look like it continues through too. And then we'll move on through into here. Unfortunately, we can't line this one up correctly with the joint there because we're trying to make it work better in the wet room, but we'll get to that later. All right, so we're going to get this room tiled today.
If I walked into this and it was a new build, I would flip my lid. But Ryan is going to show you exactly what he's dealing with here, what we have been dealing with this whole project. Nothing is square, nothing is in line, nothing is straight, but the main thing is we are central to all of our kitchen, our door runs, all nice and straight. But take a look, Ryan's going to show you one of these cuts.
So if you look at this side, you'll see how much untwist this is. From this point to this point, it's about 20 mil wider. If you come over to this side, as you can see, that's 104, That's 980. So you're talking 60 mil, just over a 1.2 metre tile. So every tile on the perimeter has been cut raking, then scribed in, then scribed again. But
he's done a fantastic job so far. And just like that, every single tile in the barn is officially down. Next up was grouting, and after that, a full clean-up to bring out that gorgeous finish. So, the main man himself, the floor has had its final wash, but let me hand you over to Ryan and he's going to give you a little run through.
Hello people, so we're finished at the barn. It's been 3.5 really hard days and we're ready to head back up the road to Newcastle for a rest because our bodies are knackered. But anyway, it's been difficult, but it's been made a lot easier with the prep that Danny's done. They've got the floor flattened out perfectly for her. They've fitted the crack mat for her. There hasn't been any bumps or lumps in the floor, which as tilers know, that's what makes life difficult. But you can see for yourself, it's obviously drying off now. It looks a bit patchy, but it's looking really well. So, yep, keep your eyes out on this one because it's going to be beautiful. I mean, look at the place. Fantastic.
So that is it. The smile on my face. This floor is looking incredible. It's better than what I thought it was going to look like, to be honest, but the large format, the concrete, polished concrete effect tiles look absolutely incredible. So, massive shout out to Ryan and his boys. They have worked long hours to get this done in 3.5 days. Absolutely killed it. They've even scribed all of the tiles into the brickwork on the edges so that we can get a mastic man in now to finish the job off nicely. So please guys, do me a massive favour. I want you to head over to Ryan's Instagram page, drop him a follow. We'll put his tag here somewhere, but he will travel nationwide for the jobs that are worth it. He's obviously not going to come down this far down south for a little bathroom. So any big jobs, go and give him a follow because his boys and Ryan are absolutely top of their game. With the electrics, plumbing and both wooden floors down and the ground floor completely tiled, that leaves us with kitchens, bathrooms, staircase and spiral staircase, but you are going to have to be patient because they are all bespokely made and it's going to take a little bit of time. So be patient. There will be more videos coming very, very soon. So make sure you leave us a comment on what you think of this beautiful floor that Ryan from RI Tiling has completely transformed this. He's come in, he's taken all the gravy. But the most important thing is, what do we reckon the client thinks of it? Bjorn, over to you, mate.
All right, well, obviously this looks absolutely amazing, better than we could have imagined, and it almost looks as amazing as Danny's shoes. Look at those.
No, don't diss the sliders. But there's one thing, what do you reckon they should do?
If you like it as much as I do, you like, subscribe, or leave a nice comment.
Nailed it. As we're coming to a slow end to the barn project, I feel like we don't want to leave it just there. So we have been asked by the client to try and rectify this project. So this is the garage/workshop which was left by the previous builders. As you can see, it was obviously done in a rush. It's been left open to the elements. The felt has given way. So I've been kindly asked by the client to complete this, which means you lot that have followed this barn series since the beginning are gonna be seeing a lot more of this type of content. So stay tuned and we will see you when we get this started.